Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Real Herbalist podcast. I am here to remind you that herbalism can be fun and easy, and that your connection to the plants and the earth and healing is your birthright. You are a powerful being. I am so excited to introduce you all to Ellen Tart-Jensen, who has been a longtime family friend that I've known since I was probably around 10 or so, and has had a huge impact on my personal healing journey. Ellen has studied and worked in the field of iridology and natural healing for nearly 40 years. She's now an internationally recognized authority on iridology and holistic health. So for those that are not familiar, iridology is the study of the color, the pigmentation, and the structure of the iris, which is the colored portion of the eye. She takes photos of the iris with a special camera so she can see the details of the eye that reveal what's happening in the body. Ellen's ebooks and educational courses in iridology are used by natural healing schools and students around the world, and she works one-on-one with people as well. I am so blessed that I have personally worked with her many times one-on-one on my healing journey with autoimmune disease, and she was the first person of probably over 10 or so practitioners I visited that told me that she saw what was happening in my body and offered me a holistic and natural path to healing. So, with her help, I was actually able to fully clear my symptoms, heal my body naturally, which, as you can imagine, was a powerful transformational experience. So, thank you so much, Ellen, for taking your time to be here and share your wisdom with us. I'm so happy to have you.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Erin. It's so wonderful to see you again.
I'm
All healthy and happy now and having a
Yes.
new child. And oh my goodness, you did all the things necessary to make your body healthy and whole.
Yeah, it has been a long, powerful journey, and
Yes.
I'm so grateful that I was able to receive your support along the journey because, as I said, you were really the first person who looked at what was happening and you were like, we got this. Like, we can do this. You can heal. Like, it's just, here are some things that we can do. And that was such a relief to sit with you and feel like, okay, this person can actually help. And there's something that I can actually do. It's not just like, I just have to surrender to this state of dis-ease in my body and just live with it. I'm so grateful to you for that. And I know that you do that with so many people, and that's such a gift.
Well, I follow the laws of God and nature. And I also have been trained, scientifically, medically, naturally. I've studied with Cherokee Indian herbalists. I've studied with Amish herbalists. I've studied in Switzerland at a clinic and with Dr. Bernard Jensen, and I've also worked on healing myself through scoliosis and many things. And so I know that when we take the toxins out and put the nutrients into our bodies and think happy thoughts, that's so important. Exercise, fresh air, sunshine, good water, all of it goes together to repair us and heal us. And I know it works every time.
Beautiful. And that's something I so appreciated too about sessions with you is you had a whole list of holistic things that I could do for myself. And so for anybody who's not familiar with holistic health, it's addressing all the parts of our life that impact our health, like food and lifestyle choices and herbs and natural healing. And that was something I loved too, is that you always gave me like, here are the foods that are really going to support you. Here are the lifestyle choices that are really going to support you, like, getting your body in touch with the earth, getting good sleep, thinking positive thoughts, etc. And that is such a important part of healing that I think we don't see a lot out in the world.
So many people have fear. They really don't know where to go or who to trust, and they don't know how to work with their own bodies and bring them back into wholeness. And even little things like stress, when you're at a stoplight and your heart is pounding, you are creating acidity in your body that feeds all kinds of viruses, bacteria, fungus, parasites. Not only that, that acidity starts pulling minerals out of the bone, creating arthritis and osteoporosis. So we don't realize how important a calm mind is. And so I highly recommend that when you're feeling that heart pounding, to stop, just say the word stop and put your hands on your abdomen and relax your body and breathe slow and easy in through the nose and out through the nose, allowing the abdomen to rise and fall. And that calms us throughout our entire body. It's anatomically impossible for the adrenals to fire when we're breathing properly. And that's what I call the holy breath. And I really know that we cannot live without proper breathing. We cannot be healthy without balanced harmony and proper breathing in our days.
Thank you so much for that reminder. Yeah, even now, just like sitting here remembering, like, oh, just noticing, like, how deep am I breathing right now? So
Yes,
now that
abdominal breathing to get oxygen to all your cells. And I recommend that people go to the office supply store and get some little red dots and put up around your home and office about eye level to say stop for 1 minute. How am I breathing? It's like riding a bicycle. When you first get on there, you start falling off. Or typing, it takes practice to get yourself calm. But it can be done in spite of all the negative things going on out there. We can live a calm and balanced life. The other thing people can do is just give themselves 15 minutes a day, about the same time and about the same place, and close your eyes and get calm and focus on your feet and squeeze them and relax. Focus on your lower legs, squeeze and relax. All the way up, squeeze and relax. You will have tension in areas you don't even realize. That if they go on and on, those are causing joint pains, shoulder pains, all kinds of problems. And so if you just do that conscious relaxation every morning, that's what helps start my day. And then say some positive affirmations, like all things are happening together for good. I am calm, confident, and strong. And the more you just feel that confidence inside and truly love yourself, that helps to balance everything in your body. Your cells are like little children, and they're going to feel it if you're thinking negative thoughts about them.
oh, I love that. That's so cool.
So love yourself, love your body, relax your body, and you will be surprised how much when you do all that, you're going to attract more beautiful things into your life and less stress.
I would love to know from you, like, what are some of the things that you see are the biggest factors for people in their ability to heal?
Breathing is the first one. The desire to heal, the willingness to heal, then also to understand about the 4 elimination channels. We can die under toxicity of any one of those elimination channels. The 4 elimination channels are the kidneys, the lungs, the skin, and the bowel. And I knew of a man one time that was burned over 2/3 of his body. And he died because the kidneys couldn't take on all that poison that normally the skin handles. So you need a whole daily regimen of skin brushing before your shower. And I recommend brushing all the way from the hands, up the arms, over the shoulders, and down toward the heart. And from your feet up toward the heart, and then down your back and around toward your heart. The thing is, we have like 45 pints of lymph fluid in our body. And that clear fluid lines our joints, and it is what holds the minerals in our joints. And when we do that, the only thing that moves the lymph is skin brushing, exercise, and massage. Where the heart will pump your blood, your lymph is going to become very stagnant if you don't move it. And it dumps out through the skin. So people that have skin issues, skin brushing will help to get that poison lymph out and help the skin to heal. And also skin brushing helps a lot to keep the lymph from being acidic. So moving the lymph, exercise, skin brushing, and massage is very important. Drinking purified water, half your body weight in ounces a day. There's a beautiful book called Your Body's Many Cries for Water by Bat Mangelich. And that's a really great book to understand the healing blessings of just purified water throughout your body. Now, you don't want to drink water that's full of chlorine or fluorine, because fluoride has been known to weaken the thyroid gland and many other things, as well as chloride. So I feel like we need purified water, and we need to drink often to purify the lymph and all the cells of the body. Then making sure you're on a really good nutritional program with at least maybe 60 to 70% of your food raw and living food. Some people do that 100%. Some people are not ready for that. And what you do 85 to 90% of the time is what counts. Not to blame yourself if you have a snack you shouldn't have or whatever. But really and truly, I feel like our foods are laced with chemicals, dyes, colors. They're full of sugar. When I used to teach in Costa Rica, I would go in the sugarcane field, and I would eat sugarcane whole. That's like eating an apple. So nature put everything into that apple and that sugarcane to help you process the sugars. But when it's been taken out and refined, it becomes a toxin to the body. So it can cause decayed teeth, diabetes, many problems in your even with the pancreas, blood sugar issues. So I feel like eating whole natural foods that haven't been processed, that don't have a lot of chemicals and sugar in them, is very important. The other thing I'm finding is that a lot of people have trouble with gluten. Gluten is very gluey and sticky, and it is in wheat and rye and barley. So the best thing to do is just stay away from wheat for the most part and eat whole grains like millet and quinoa. And buckwheat is not a wheat, it's actually a flour, Flower. And whole grains like that, and then eat plenty of vegetables. We need to have a lot of alkaline in our body, like 80% alkaline and 20% acid. So if you eat 6 vegetables a day and 2 whole fruits a day, that's going to give you that 80% alkaline in food that you need, so your lymph doesn't become acidic. It's also going to be like little brooms that sweep everything clean. So I feel like if the more you can choose from the vegetable kingdom and also have some fruit, and then I don't recommend fruit juice because it's very high in sugar, and definitely not sodas. When I teach my nutrition classes, I can put a chicken bone in a glass of soda for just a few days, and it becomes completely wobbly.
Wow.
What is that doing to your bones if you're drinking that soda every day? And one soda has 12 teaspoons of sugar in it, plus a lot of chemicals and additives. So if you want fruit juice, I recommend something like a dark cherry, maybe 2 ounces of dark cherry and the rest water. And people that are addicted to sodas may want to put sparkling mineral water, and that will be much better for them. I work with replacement therapy. So when we replace your habits that aren't good for you with habits that are good for you, you're just going to feel so much better. Breathing fresh air is important for the lungs. The water is important for the kidneys and the lymph, as well as skin brushing is important for the kidneys and lymph. And eating those really good natural foods helps the bowel to have natural elimination. So I feel like if you kind of have a whole program daily, that's a vehicle that we can live in for life. But you've got to give it to yourself. Nobody else is going to do that. So if you kind of wake up at a certain time, drink some water with some fresh squeezed lemon in there, have a nice morning relaxation meditation, have a healthy, whole, natural breakfast. A lot of times a smoothie is a good thing for breakfast. And then a nice big salad for dinner, for lunch, and really some vegetables and a protein for dinner. I feel like you're going to have a much healthier, happier body.
I felt like when I worked with you, it was very much focused on what are we doing, not what are we not doing. And I think that's really important. Like you said, the replacement, like instead of focusing on we're not having this, because that can feel so daunting and just like not fun, you know?
No,
Like I
right.
remember leaving a session with you with a list of new things to get. And I went to the store and I was like, "Ooh, I'm excited to try this. I'm excited to try this." And it made it fun. So I want to offer that too to people is if you're trying to make a change, focus on like, what are you having more of versus like, oh, here's a giant list of things I'm not doing or not having.
That's
So
so important. And also, if you do have one of them, not to get angry with yourself. Because anger, there's a wonderful study of the vibrational frequencies of words by David Hawkins. And he wrote the book Power versus Force and put that list in there. He actually measured anger, sadness, fear, the frequencies. People don't realize that their thoughts are actually vibrational frequencies. And when you have those low thoughts, anger, sadness, fear, your body's going to feel so depleted because it's low frequencies. And if you can do anything to move up that scale and reach for a happier thought, something joyful, something beautiful, sometimes in your darkest moments, it's hard to get up there. So if you just think a little something you're thankful for or grateful for, then you can climb that ladder and practice joy, because joy helps to heal everything because it's a very high vibrational frequency. And of course, loving yourself.
yes, and I think what you're talking about as like a way of healing, it is orienting your life towards self-love. You know, the food is one thing and the self-care is the one thing, but like underneath all of that is self-love, right?
Absolutely. I find that the bottom line, and I have worked with literally thousands of clients and students around the world, the bottom line for illness most of the time is low self-esteem. I'm not happy with myself. So we need to go on that journey and find out, where is that coming from? And even if you never find the whole reason or where it's coming from, you can start practicing with loving yourself, taking care of your beautiful body, washing your hair with lovely natural shampoo, going for a walk on the earth, get your feet on the earth, hug a tree, do something nice for another person. When I was a child, I was in a hospital for 6 months with scoliosis, and I wore a body cast and I was strapped in a bed for 12 weeks. And so it was the smallest things of loving one another, loving the children that had many ailments and afflictions there that lifted my spirit. And when I got back into school, a lot of the kids, all they were interested in was what you were wearing, what are you doing, who are you going with, and those seemed sort of superficial compared to the love of just another person, just the way they are.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. The state of our mind and the thoughts we choose to think, it's so powerful. And something else I want to add too is like, and you touched on this, believing and knowing that your body is working for you and that you can heal. Because if we just believe that we can't and that we're just like in this forever and we're just victims of our circumstance, our body hears that, like you're
Yeah,
saying.
big time.
And it's impossible to heal if you believe that you can't. So
Right.
whether someone else is telling you that or that's just what you're believing, really look at that and like just get to decide that this beautiful miraculous body that you're in wants you to thrive. It's not like your body wants you to be sick. Your body is made to heal and made to be in a healthy state. We just have to provide the circumstances, right? And the
Yes,
fuel.
the body will heal when given the opportunity. And you can love your body and trust your body, and it will. But, you've got to start saying, every day I'm weller, every day I'm healthier, every day I'm going to incorporate a little bit something more that's going to help me. Every day I'm going to think a happier thought. I'm going to be grateful for things in my life. And notice how your body starts improving and feeling better. So those are so important, those tools.
I would love to ask you about herbs and natural remedies since the podcast is very much based in herbalism. So I'd love to know, what are some basic herbs that you feel like everyone should know about that should be more mainstream, that could be easily and readily used for people to support their well-being?
Well, there are so many beautiful herbs out there. They're like my little friends. I just love them. And really, a whole plant is a whole food when you use the whole herb. For example, oat straw is a powerful plant that's high in the mineral silicon. And we need silicon to have strong hair, strong skin, strong nerves, strong fingernails. So something simple like drinking 1 or 2 cups of oat straw tea a day will nourish and give those areas what they need. I mean, people with their fingernails cracking, their skin not doing well, their hair falling out, or nervousness, oat straw tea is a must. And you have to get, it doesn't come in a neat little tea bag. You can order the straw, and I like Mountain Rose Herbs. There are many places where you can get the oat straw, and you need to boil a quart of water, add 4 heaping teaspoons of the straw, turn the burner down to simmer, and let it simmer for 10-15 minutes. Turn it off and let it steep for about 15 minutes. Strain it, and you can use that tea. I use it in soups. I use it in oatmeal. I use it to wash my hair, and I drink it. So oat straw with silicon is very, very nurturing for the hair, skin, fingernails, and nerves. Another really good remedy while we're talking about the hair, if hair is falling out, you may have a low thyroid function. The thyroid sits right here, and it's responsible for circulation and getting nutrients to the extremities, especially the scalp. And so when your thyroid is low, one of the signs is falling hair, bloating, poor circulation, cold hands and feet. So I like to add seaweed to my meal. You can buy dulse, D-U-L-S-E, flakes and put them in your soups, on your salads, on your foods, and that will nourish and strengthen your thyroid because the thyroid mineral is iodine. And if there's any radiation in the atmosphere and you don't have enough iodine, it will really weaken your thyroid. So dulse flakes, any kind of kelp or dulse or seaweed. Some people like nori roll-ups where you take nori sheets of seaweed and maybe put some quinoa in there and some avocado and some carrot strips or whatever you want vegetable-wise, roll it up. Avocado is so delicious. So incorporating seaweed helps the thyroid and the hair and the energy levels and the circulation. And the other thing is, if your hair is falling out, another good home remedy for your hair is to put an egg yolk. It's got to be whole, pasture raised, and organic in a cup with 2 tablespoons of cold pressed sesame oil and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And stir that really well and massage into your scalp. And wrap your head with a hot, damp towel and leave it on till it cools. Then wash your hair with a good biotin shampoo. Biotin is also a hair vitamin. And so that's a really good way. Now, if you have dandruff, you want to get mint tea. And when you get those mint leaves fresh and make a really good mint tea, and then I would drop some tea tree oil in there and massage it into your scalp before you wash it. Wrap it with a hot, damp towel for until it cools. And then I recommend something called Jensen Scalp Treatment Shampoo with Tea Tree Oil. And when you do that, that dandruff will go away if you change your diet, because dandruff is the result of fungus in the body, candida, which is a yeast in the body, and it clogs up the pores, causes itching, and causes the hair to fall out. And so the number one thing that feeds fungus and candida is sugar. So we have got to find ways to substitute our sugar habit. And we can do that, like you can bake an apple and put cinnamon in there. You can use stevia, which is a wonderful herb to include in your diet that doesn't upset the pancreas and the blood sugar glycemic levels at all. You can actually put stevia in a wound, like a bed sore, and it will help to heal it.
Wow.
But I only use the dark stevia that's unprocessed for wounds. Now, if you're going to put it in your herbal tea, you can get the lighter stevia. But stevia will keep you from feeding the fungus and the yeast and all of that. Now, things to incorporate in your life to build your immune system, because everybody is so worried about viruses in the atmosphere. But what we want to do is make our body terrain, the soil of our body, healthy. Because a farmer knows when he has the soil healthy, the plants will stay stronger and healthier and the bugs won't come to the plant. It's when the soil is depleted that the plants break down and the bugs come to eat them. The same thing with our human body. Our human body will be attacked by all kinds of bugs, which can be fungus, viruses, bacteria, parasites, if we're eating lots of sugar and we're breaking down inside. And so we need to do everything we can to keep the fungus from forming or the dandruff on the scalp in the first place. So to build the immune system in the body, leave off sugar. Then also there are many different things you can use in your kitchen that help fight viruses. For example, garlic is like a natural penicillin. And you say, oh, I don't want that garlic breath. Well, what you can do is put a teaspoon of baking soda in water and rinse your mouth and gargle, and you'll get rid of the garlic taste in your mouth. Garlic kills infections. You can put it in soups, you can put it in salads, any way you can use it. The other thing, red onions. Red onions are high in quercetin, and quercetin is a big fighter of viruses in the body. It builds the immune cells. It helps the fighter cells to be strong. And so red onion's a wonderful healer for the body, as well as thyme. Thyme is one of my favorite herbs. When I studied in Switzerland, we recommended thyme tea for people with colds and sore throats. So thyme is a very valuable herb to use in your cooking or in your salads, or you can put it in lots of smoothies or anything. But thyme is very healing. Sage helps the memory. That's why we call people that are very wise sages. So you can add sage to your diet. And rosemary helps to fight fungus in the body. So rosemary is a very good thing to utilize. So we can choose from many, many herbs in our culinary, what we eat and take into our bodies. If you need to take something extra to build your immune system, I really like echinacea because it's a very friendly herb that helps build your immune system. It's even great for kids. And the other thing you can do is even the bees have propolis in their hives to keep out fungus and bacteria. So propolis you can get in liquid or capsule form and take it if you get a sore throat or whatever. I'm not prescribing at all, but just to know that these natural foods are in nature, that when we add them to our bodies get stronger and healthier.
It's just so amazing how nature has provided us with all of these medicines. And I'm just so excited that the rise of herbalism and natural healing is happening and people are taking back their relationship with the plants and with the earth. It's so exciting.
Yes, and I think about if you have candida, which is a yeast. It can be a yeast infection in women. It can be thrush in children. You'll have a lot of white on your tongue and you'll feel horrible. You can use a tea called Padiarco, and that's PAUD'*ARCO. And Padiarco is amazing, and it has been used traditionally for years to get rid of yeast and fungus. And then red clover tea sweeps it out of the blood, out of the body. So I recommend anybody that has rashes, itching, bloating, gas, they can just incorporate 2 cups of a mixture of Padiarco and red clover tea. So you can boil 2 cups of water. Then when it's boiling, add a tea bag of Padiarco and 1 of red clover. Turn the burner off immediately. Let it steep for 15-20 minutes. Strain it, and you have a wonderful all healer, strengthener of the body that helps to get rid of the fungus and the candida.
Beautiful. And candida, for those that aren't familiar, is associated with sugar. Again, we're back to the sugar conversation.
Well, candida forms naturally in the gut, and we need candida. A lot of people don't realize that. It's there for a reason, and that's to gobble up what our bodies don't need and get rid of it. So Candida eats antibiotics, heavy metals, and chemicals, and it also eats a lot of sugar, white flour, gluten. It just loves all that stuff. So if you've had a lot of antibiotics, even in hospitals now, they're giving probiotics for people that have C. diff, which is also caused, which is a very, very, very bad bacteria that can cause severe diarrhea, because too many antibiotics upset the microbiome or the terrain of the gut. And so what we need to do is nourish our microbiome by avoiding the things that feed candida. Because if they get too much food, you have an overload. And they start boring holes through the gut out into the body, and even in affecting the nervous system, affecting the skin, affecting bloating and gas. So the more you go ahead and drink that Podiarco and red clover tea, and then I recommend people eat sauerkraut, because sauerkraut and kimchi have the really good probiotics to replace all the ones that you've lost. So it's very important to keep the terrain of your body and your gut especially healthy, because the gut connects with all parts of your body through the nervous system. And the blood picks up everything through the gut and travels out of the gut through osmosis. So it's either going to be picking up candida or bacteria or toxins and traveling out, or it will be picking up nutrients and traveling out. So people don't realize that if we have a bad stomach problem, we can have brain fog, we can have headaches, we can have many, many concerns, that when we just take care of our gut, it's an amazing thing to help the person get well. I also like mint tea, because if you have a stomach ache, a little mint tea can help very much just to calm the stomach. Helps with gas and bloating. Either spearmint or peppermint tea is very soothing to the digestive tract.
So many amazing herbs. Thank you for sharing some new remedies that people can use. And I know you mentioned your book. Can we talk
Yes,
about that briefly so that people can find that?
my book is called Health is Your Birthright: How to Create the Health You Deserve, with nutrition, cleanses, remedies, teas, supplements, poultices, and salves. And so in that book, I have incorporated all kinds of poultices, all kinds of every single herb, what it does for you, how to make herbal teas with it, how to use the herbs. I've got most all the ailments and natural things that help to bring you back to wholeness. I've got a nutritional plan in there where you leave off certain things and replace with other things. I've got exercise plans in there, skin brushing in there, cleansing, all kinds of juices when you start juicing, smoothies, recipes. I put everything in there. It took me 7 years to write that book, because I was traveling on planes to other countries to lecture. And so I was just writing notes through all the 7 years, and then finally got my book put together.
Beautiful. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for creating that resource.
absolutely. I think it's a nice thing to have for a family or a single person, but it just guides you. You can look up just about anything on what to do for it.
Through meeting you, I've become more familiar with iridology and the study of the iris. And I think it's, probably a lot of people are unfamiliar with iridology. So I would love for you to touch on like something that you think is really cool and interesting about iridology that you would want other people to know about.
Iridology is the study of the iris of the eye. But we also study the sclera, the white part of the eye, and the border of the pupil. And the eyes, each eye has 28,000 nerve endings that connect to all parts of the body. And the border of the pupil, which is the black hole, the border is live nerve tissue that we're actually seeing brain tissue there, because it is an extension of the brain and the optic nerve that goes down the spinal cord. And so if a person is injured in any part of the spine, the pupil will flatten out in the corresponding region. So many times if there's an injury to upper cervical, the top of the pupil will be flat. And there will be what we call a trauma fork that looks like a fork in the white of the sclera, just above the top, which is the head area in the iris, represents that area. And so, for example, I had a man one time that came to me with vertigo, and the room was just spinning around. And I asked him if his pupil was flat and he had a trauma fork. So I said, have you had an upper cervical injury? He said, oh no, I can't think of one. And so I said, well, your cervical spine needs to come into alignment. So I'm going to recommend a chiropractor for you that works with upper cervical. So during the conversation, I said, what do you do for a living? He said, well, I just got this new job and I'm painting ceilings. So he was holding his head back all day long. And then he said, I just remembered, I fell down a chimney when I was a child, head first, and I hit my head pretty hard. I said, I believe you're re-injuring an old injury by this painting, because the vertigo had not started until he started painting ceilings. And so the upper cervical chiropractor got his neck and shoulders straightened out. He did not have vertigo anymore.
Wow.
So another combination of that, I had a man that was a surfer, and he was in the water all the time, getting water in his inner ears. Plus, he was holding his head back often, and he was working on computers as his job, leaning over all the time, just holding his head down, and he had vertigo. So he had that flattening, his upper cervical, and we had to stop surfing, get the water out of the inner ears, and I like to do that with a little bit of raw apple cider vinegar, mixed half and half with peroxide. And that can help to just get the water out. And then had him go to the upper cervical doctor. Plus he also was becoming diabetic. He had to get off, he called himself a party animal. He had to get off sugar. He lost 40 pounds. He started running a 50-mile triathlon. The vertigo went away. So working with keeping healthy ears and keeping yourself balanced in your spine, we can see all that in the eyes. And the eyes just tell us so much information about a person. So normally with the eyes, we have in the world blue-eyed people, brown-eyed people, and mixed-eyed people. So the mixture of the two was where the brown-eyed and blue-eyed people had children, and you had the mixed eye. So the blue-eyed people, we found after questioning thousands of blue-eyed people, that they tend to have certain familial traits: sinus congestion, lung congestion, aching joints, lymphatic issues. And the brown-eyed people tend to have blood issues such as anemia, sickle cell anemia, high blood sugar, low blood sugar imbalances, blood pressure imbalances, blood issues, the brown-eyed people. The mixed-eyed people tend to have digestive and liver disorders, and they are the ones that have to work with the lymph and the blood and the digestion. And so just knowing that about your child or your partner or your friend can help you so much in guiding them on foods to avoid and foods to that are good for their bodies. For example, blue-eyed people definitely need to stay away from lymph-congesting foods, wheat, milk, and sugar. Mixed-eyed people need to get a lot of bitter greens and beets and lemon in the water to keep the digestion flowing, to keep the liver and gallbladder clean. And then the brown-eyed people need blood-building foods, dark greens. Chlorophyll is like a blood of the plant. And the only difference is it doesn't have the hemoglobin factor. It's the chlorophyll factor. It's the blood of the plant, but it feeds the blood of the body. So people can buy chlorophyll. I like chlorophyll with mint and drink it in your water. And all these dark greens, kale, chard, all of your dark greens are going to build the blood. Also, dark reds build the blood, such as beets and dark cherries. I had a little girl one time that was so anemic, and she had been eating lots of sugar. And we had to switch out those sodas for the dark cherry juice, which built her blood, and to get her on really healthy greens and dark, beets, dark foods, raisins, plums, prunes. All those foods are high in iron, so blood building foods. So those are, the three main constitutions that we look at in iridology: blue, mixed, and brown. But then within the iris, we have a chart that we go by that shows us exactly what areas connect to the are reflected to the lungs or to the digestive tract or to the feet and legs or whatever. And we can see the genetic patterns in those eyes. And so if you are a little child and your family had a lot of heart issues and you were born with that tendency, we can see a marker at 3 o'clock in the left iris, sometimes 9 o'clock in the right iris, that there was a genetic condition of the heart in the family. So therefore, we can work with prevention. We can guide that child not to eat a lot of greasy foods, fried foods, things that clog up the arteries that are going to cause heart problems later in life. So, and hawthorn tea is a wonderful tea that strengthens the heart and improves the circulation. So there are many, many signs we can see in the iris that are genetic signs that's why I like to work with children to be able to see what their genetics are. We can also see personality in the eyes. Now, people think that may be strange, but if you think about it, a grandmother is an opera singer and the granddaughter is an opera singer. Those are great traits that came down through that family. Or the father was a carpenter, the son is a carpenter. They just have that trait in their genes. And so after, questioning thousands of people with eye patterns, we found that there are some very specific patterns that tell us about personality, such as we have the pattern of very sensitive, very intuitive people that are kinesthetic. They need to hug and be hugged. They need to exercise if they don't feel well. We have the pattern of people that are very outgoing. They're very creative, and they need to sing and dance, and they usually become actors, actresses, and they will be very depressed if they're not doing creative things. And then we have the pattern of people that are very analytical, very left brain oriented, very detail oriented. They like to categorize things and put things in boxes or things in drawers that are filed, and they make good leaders and good teachers and good mathematicians, architect, designers. And so, if we can see the personality patterns, especially in a child, we can guide the parents as to, a creative child needs to really be up there on the stage. They need to be singing and dancing. A very sensitive child needs hugs. A detailed oriented child, they love to work with maybe mathematics figures or things like that. So knowing that about yourself or your child helps you. We can also look at the eyes as the gifts people have for their, for their jobs. So people that are hiring somebody, they'll know if they're better at this or better at that, or wouldn't be so good standing on their feet all day because they don't have the strongest constitution. Because if you show a lot of open fibers in the iris, those people tend to have, hemorrhoids, hernias, varicose veins. They shouldn't be in a job where they have to stand all day or work heavy construction. So the eyes just show us so many things, and honestly, it is my passion in life. I love it because it's a non-invasive form of analysis. And I can photograph the eyes, put them up on the computer screen, and show people exactly what their traits are. And it just helps to open their eyes, literally, to more of who they are and how they can guide their ship through the oceans of life. Because if you don't know any of that about yourself, you're kind of in the dark. And when you just open up to knowing more about yourself, like, for example, if you're a creative person, you're probably going to be making your home beautifully decorated. If you're a teacher, beautiful colors on the bulletin board. That way you can understand yourself so much better through an iris analysis.
Yeah, it is so fun to come to you and have your eyes taken or your eye photos taken and to get to look into your eye in a way that you just never would before because Ellen has this camera and you put your face in it and it takes a close-up image of your iris. So you get to see it blown up. It's really cool. And it's just amazing that the iris is actually a map of all the things going on in the body, the personality too. So if you're in San Diego, I highly recommend booking a session with Ellen. I'll put all your information below, but would you like to share anything about what you're offering or how people can connect with you or what you're doing for out in the world right now?
I have a busy practice where I see people all day, every day, and I have them fill out a health history form, which I would send to them ahead of time. So if they could email me at ellen@ellenjensen.com, and say they want an appointment, I can give them some times and then send them a health history form to fill out. And then when they come to see me, I take pictures of their eyes and I go over everything I see and create a personalized plan for them, for their foods, for their liquids, for their exercises, possibly therapies, poultices, baths, whatever they need according to what I see going on with that person based on their health history as well as what I'm seeing in their eyes. So I love to just create a whole program for that person and see them gain their balance and their health and their joy back. That's why it just fills me with love and goodness because I see so many people get well.
Yeah, what a beautiful angel and gift of a person you are. I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful that I got to hold your hand on my healing journey. It was just such an honor, and I'm just so excited I get to introduce you to this little herbal community that I'm building. So thank you so much for taking your time to share your wisdom with us. I know you're busy and you have a lot of clients, as you said, and things going on. So just really appreciate your time and honor you for the work that you're doing in the world.
Thank you. We're also having an iridology symposium. I'll be speaking there. It's international. So if people are iridologists out there or people interested in iridology, that's an amazing conference to go to. And I'm teaching a seminar for certification this summer. So if they want to come and really learn iridology, I can get them started on their journey that way.
Cool. So if they're interested in becoming a practitioner of this work.
Irid, correct.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Ellen. Thank you for being here.
You're most welcome. Thank you for having me, Erin.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you everyone for being here and listening to this conversation. I hope it inspired you to remember that you have the power to heal yourself. And I'll put all of Ellen's information below, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for being here, friends.
Thank you.